Meet direct air capture, or DAC for short. It is a technological approach to CDR. DAC units employ advanced technology to filter and capture CO2 from the atmosphere. There are largely two approaches to DAC. Solid sorbent uses solids to absorb CO2, while liquid solvent uses liquids to absorb CO2. They each have their own pros and cons, but largely liquid solvent DAC is really suitable for large-scale plants but has high temperature regeneration, which means it will require a lot of energy.
The advantages of a solvent-based system is that it's relatively well developed with a relatively high capture rate, meaning a lot of the CO2 that passes through the solvent is captured. The drawbacks, however, is that in a solvent-based systems, the energy requirements are relatively large, and you typically also need to fit them into an existing facility. That's both a drawback and an advantage. So in that sense, that makes solvents most often used in CCS applications rather than in DAC applications.
The solid sorbent process benefits off low temperature regeneration, meaning it won't need as much energy as the liquid approach.
Advantages of a sorbent-based process is that typically they require lower energy, less heat, so they're more energy effective, and they have a relatively high capture rate on the CO2 that adsorbs with the sorbent. The drawback is that being that it is a sorbent that passes through a filter, you need to sort of recharge or reapply the sorbent, so the longevity of that sorbent is something that can be problematic if it doesn't last long enough, so you have to exchange the sorbent all the time.
The process for solid sorbent DAC. The process begins with a fan sucking in air into a container with specialized filters that trap carbon dioxide molecules. These filters selectively capture CO2 while allowing other gases to pass through. Once captured, the concentrated carbon dioxide is then heated to around 100 degrees Celsius, the same as when you boil water for a cup of tea. Then it is separated, stored, or utilized in various ways.
DAC is a really interesting methodology for carbon removal because unlike a lot of other methods, it does not have a large land requirement. Essentially, we can essentially stack these units on top of each other. They're typically modular, which is a big gain over a lot of other methods where you can't put trees on top of each other. DAC, however, has the problem that it does require a significant amount of energy, and the relative effectiveness of the plants at the moment are relatively low. So they need to become significantly more effective to really deliver carbon removal at scale. Of course, the low concentration in the atmosphere is a challenge, and the effectiveness of the sorbent or the solvent needs to improve to capture enough of the CO2 given the relatively low concentration. And of course, finally, the resource footprint and energy requirements need to come down for this to become a cost-effective solution in the long term. But DAC certainly has potential to deliver millions, if not even billions of tons of CO2 removal over the coming decades.